Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with a Saturday morning sun popped on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal and we'll enjoy your favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning we watched Rugrats.
Oh man, this was a nostalgia trip and a half.
Oh my god, dude. When the intro started, I was like feeling total nostalgia. Like I just got hooked on it. The moment that little robot comes out, the little robot cat comes out, it's like womp, 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 womp. I'm like, oh god, I remember this.
Did that dang robot ever even show up in the show, or was it only in the intro?
It could have. I don't know. I mean, he
only
made so
remember
many
it being in the
things, like
intro.
every episode.
Yeah, that's true. I have not watched every second of the show.
Definitely not seen all of it. I would say, in fact, that I might have only seen portion of the first 65 episodes, which were the quote unquote the good episodes. If we're going back to Real Ghostbusters for a second, just for a second, it's like the OG Real Ghostbusters prior to them branching off and trying all those new things before it got bad. It's like, I don't know that Rugrats ever got bad per se, but I was reading some reviews on it where people were really like, the original 65 episodes, the best, 10 out of 10. But then once Dill came in, the baby, 3 out of 10. And then once Kimmy came in, Chucky's little sister, or his adopted sister.
Oh, he got an adopted sister?
Well, not adopted, sorry, like his stepsister, I guess, because his dad got remarried.
Oh, I never knew that.
After the movie, like Rugrats Go to Paris or something like that. Yeah, after she came in, 1 out of 10, because she was just another Tommy and there was no need for another Tommy. So I was reading this whole thing, like a lot of people were going off about it. And so we didn't see those episodes, so we're not going to judge one way or another. I'm just saying what I read.
Yeah.
Just coming into this, what we watched was a portion of the first 65 episodes. So keeping that in mind, we're not reviewing the other portion of it.
Yes, we are not. So leave us alone. Leave me alone.
Who suggested this to us?
This was suggested to us by Brian Blake. So thank you, Brian.
Yes, thank you.
As we said on the last one, this is one of those where we're like, how did we not do this one already? I don't know.
That's why it's so ingrained in my memory that I assumed we did already. Like,
yeah, you did that for
even
like
when
everything that we're like, yeah, I remember that show. You're like, wait, we didn't do that already?
I just assume we did. It's in my mind. We must have done it. So the show Rugrats aired from 91 to 2004. Isn't that crazy? Created by Arlene Klasky, Gabor Supo, and Paul Germain. Produced by Klasky Supo Productions. Games Animation from 91 to 97, Nickelodeon Animation Studio from 98 to 2003, Wang Film Productions from 91 to 92, and Animvision from 92 to 2003. So a lot of producers in there.
That is.
Ran for a total of 9 seasons, 172 episodes. And like I said, we watched a portion of the first 65 on Nickelodeon Network. For a short synopsis written by Gas Mask Productions Books is the name of the... That it's just all one word, Gas Mask Production Books.
That's interesting.
The cartoon misadventures of 4 babies and their snotty older cousin as they face the things in life they don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty good.
I feel like that's adulthood for me, too. I'm still facing things in life I don't understand.
Yeah, that's me waking up in the morning. I'm like, I don't know why I'm awake right now. So
do I really have to go to work again?
Yeah. Oh man, I have been late the last like 6 shifts in a row because I just can't do it, man. I just can't. I keep looking at that clock and I'm like, oh, work started 5 minutes ago. Snooze.
After watching Rugrats, I feel pretty confident we could just walk around in little blue shirts and diapers and everything will be fine.
I'm in except for the diaper. I'm just going to go commando down there. So I'm just rocking the blue shirt. I'm going Winnie the Pooh style, just the t-shirt. You can call me Pooh Bear. We can pull that off.
So who are some of the actors you played in this show?
All right, so Tommy Pickles was voiced by Elizabeth Daly, and I was looking at some of the other stuff on her resume, and I'm like, her voice is very familiar. And then it clicked right as I found it. She was the voice of Buttercup from the original Powerpuff Girls. And I'm like, oh man, I really hear that now. And I just like watching the episodes, I was like, it's bugging me. So I looked it up earlier than I usually did. And I'm like, okay, now I know.
Yeah, EG Daily is what she usually goes by.
Yeah, well, fine. EG Daily. There you go. Thanks for correcting.
Well, because I know she's listening to this, and I just want to make sure that she knows that we know.
Sorry, EG. I didn't. I wasn't aware. Chucky Finster is voiced by Christy Cavanaugh, someone that we've talked about a little bit on the show before. She was the voice of Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory, Oblina from Real Monsters, and the voice of Babe the Pig in Babe. Unfortunately, passed away several years ago. Not sure why, but her voice is missed because she has a very cool voice and it really stands out. And I always like when I hear her in some of the classic cartoons that we've watched.
Yeah, I love Chucky's voice. His voice might be one of my favorites. Like it sounds so like innocent. Like
It's
everybody
really
sounds
good.
pretty innocent, but his is just ultra like, oh man,
Absolutely.
such a baby. So adorable.
Phil and Lil DeVille. Oh, wow, a mouthful. Both were voiced by Kath Soucie. Again, someone that we've talked about a lot. We've seen her in Toxic Crusaders, Captain Planet and the Planeteers, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and Sonic the Hedgehog, whole bunch of other stuff. She's the voice that I usually can't tell if I like or not, because her voice is also very distinct, and depending on how she's using it, can be more painful than enjoyable, but I think she did okay here.
It's because usually like when it's a little bothersome to us is when it's like really high pitched, like and she's like some kind of annoying lady or something. But in this, it makes sense for her to be high pitched as Lil, and then as Phil, it's got a nice like gruffness to it, and then as the mom, it's kind of the same thing. So I liked her voice range in this a lot.
Yeah, she really did flex her talent here. And when I say like it can be annoying, I don't mean that she's not talented. It's just she's really good at some of those voices that are just like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. Like her character in Toxic Crusaders was like that for sure.
Well, yeah, it's intentionally like that, and I don't mean that either. Like, she's a great voice actress. It's just like some of those characters have those kind of shrill voices,
and like Tuffy from Tom and Jerry. Remember? When we watched the Wizard of Oz one, and we hated that character. Yep, that's another example of really not liking one of her characters. Angelica Pickles was voiced by Cheryl Chase. Stu Pickles voiced by Jack Riley. Dee Dee Pickles voiced by Melanie Shartoff. Grandpa Lou voiced by David Doyle. Interesting little tidbit about David Doyle was he was the original Bosley from Charlie's Angels.
Oh, wow.
And then because you mentioned this character earlier, we did not get to this character in any of the episodes that we watched, but it is a character that is kind of infamous now with a really stupid name. Dill Pickles, voiced by Tara Strong, who needs no introduction because we talk about her on pretty much every episode now. We talked about her on the last episode. So you want to know who Tara is? Go to that one, which will tell you to go back to listen to another one, which we'll keep doing that. So basically go listen to our entire catalog of shows. There's over 200 now. So there you go.
That's how we keep the show alive. We're just chaining to other episodes.
We just chain them all.
Oh, you want to know about this thing? And go back to that episode.
You gotta go back to episode 1 and work your way through.
Well, maybe not episode 1. That was not great. Episode, I would say 18 is where we kind of picked up.
There we go.
So here's a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Rugrats cereal. Tommy is based off Gabor Supo and Arlene Klasky's, the creators of the show's son, Brendan. He was named after co-creator Paul Germain's son. So he's basically a combination of all three of the creators' like kids put together.
Nice. Okay.
The reason Tommy is always depicted as adventurous and brave is because he was born premature, hence his fighting spirit. And we actually get to see kind of an example of that in the last episode. And we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was a really interesting like take on it, because I never, as a kid, when I was actually watching this, like I never would have even thought about that. But it's a really cool addition to it.
Yeah.
This was the first Nicktoon to have a film based on the show, which is Rugrats, the Rugrats movie from 1998. The show is one of the original Nicktoons, along with Doug in 91 and the Ren and Stimpy show also in 91. So this show and Doug aired on the same day. Doug aired first and Rugrats was second. And then Ren and Stimpy came a little bit later. But it definitely had the most lasting power.
Oh, yeah.
Because Doug got stolen by Disney and Ren and Stimpy got ruined by, for various reasons. We won't go into that. During a recording session, E.G. Daily went into labor and insisted on finishing before heading to the hospital. That's dedication.
Jeez, that's crazy.
I know. Here's something I didn't know. Nickelodeon literally means 5-cent theater.
Yeah, you didn't know about those those old little Nickelodeons back in the day? You'd put the little coin in, and then
maybe I
take a peek.
Maybe I knew about it, but I didn't know. I didn't associate that name with it.
Yeah.
And here's the last one. I won't read all the games because there's so many, but there are 19 video games based on the series.
Whoa.
That's just like games based on them alone. They also make cameos in other Nickelodeon-based games. So
wow. Okay.
Rugrats, and that's not it. Like Rugrats has a ton of like books and comic books and comic strips and like, you know, a few movies like I was mentioning earlier. So this has like gotten a huge like it exploded in the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Like I mean, I know I have tons of memories from seeing this as a kid. Like I have this weird cluster of memories from that time period that I associate all together. And I don't know if this is one memory or if it's like a mix of different memories that have all slowly morphed together over time. But I associate these early Nicktoons like Rugrats and Doug and Ren and Stimpy, mostly Rugrats though, because that was my favorite one. I watched that one a lot. But I when I think about them, I also think of being in a Pizza Hut. And I remember them at one time having toys that were like puppets or something of some of the shows on Nickelodeon, and having these like colorable placemats and stuff that were Nickelodeon themed. And then also seeing the Simpsons arcade game in the corner, and hearing Toto or Africa by Toto playing through the jukebox. But it's like, it's this very weird specific cluster of memories that are all associated together with stuff like this. So yeah, when I think of Rugrats, I also think of Pizza Hut and Toto and the Simpsons.
That is one very distinct memory.
Yeah.
Of all those things chained together.
Yep.
There's a portion of this show that brings me a level of happiness that I cannot really describe with words. It's a very primal happiness. It's got to be just a huge hit of nostalgia. But anytime I see or really hear about Reptar, like there is something that just comes over me. I get like a wave of warmth that is just so soothing to me. And it must have been because just as a kid when I was watching this, like that was something I really associated with because, you know, I was watching Godzilla and stuff. And this was essentially their version of Godzilla, a big kaiju dinosaur monster. And so I loved that character so much as a kid. And still to this day, anytime I see Reptar merchandise, I will usually always pick it up. I've actually had Reptar bar. I've had literal Reptar cereal.
Nice.
So it's like something about that character, just the imagery of it just brings me a level of happiness. Like I said, I can't even fully describe.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, you had to have, like, you have to get really happy every time you get, you find like a Reptar bar at like an FYE whenever they do that, because they do that all the time. Like they'll have things like that. So never had one. I need to get one.
They're pretty good. Usually I run into them at conventions. I'll just walk by a table and see one. It's like, yep, got to grab it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into the episodes about today's show. The very first episode, the highest rated episode, and finally a random listener chosen episode. Order may vary depending on how these episodes fall chronologically. But of course, we have to start with the very first episode, which was Tommy's First Birthday, Season 1, Episode 1, where Stu and Dee Dee strive to make Tommy's first birthday a memorable one. And they do, but under the wrong circumstances.
We can tell this is the pilot because we've got Red Shirt Tommy.
What is it with all these red shirt characters? Yes,
we got away from Red Shirt Shaggy and the Scooby-Doo stuff. We have sealed that. That is closed. But now we ran into Red Shirt Tommy.
Red Shirt. Yeah.
So
now we've witnessed, I think, the only time we ever see Red Shirt Tommy.
Yeah. So whenever like one of these days something's gonna go weird, and like we're gonna open like our social media or something, and one of us, like in that little cartoon drawing of us, will be wearing a red shirt, and we're gonna be real confused.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute.
Gonna enter the Red Shirt Chris saga.
Yeah, you're right. I'm entering that right now. I think this is the precursor to the Red Shirt Chris saga. Yeah, like this is, so it's, the animation's a little rougher for sure, as compared to the other episodes that we watched and stuff. And I don't know if that's because the other episodes we watched were in different seasons, or if this was because it was specifically the pilot episode, because I didn't watch episode 2 right after it. But yeah, rough animation, but it's this is the episode I probably remember the most of. And if I think of Rugrats, I think of this more than anything else. And probably because I've seen it so many times as a kid.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I also really remember this episode, but I was still associating Tommy with the blue shirt and diaper just kind of overlaid onto the happenings of this episode.
No, same here.
Because I saw so many of the other ones where he was wearing that, but I remember this plot line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this is the one where, like, for those of you that have seen it, where Tommy is his parents are trying to feed him, and his food, obviously, baby food always looks gross, and he sees a commercial for dog food, and this dog looks really happy eating this food, and so he wants to eat the dog food, and he also thinks that maybe if he eats the dog food, he'll turn into a dog himself, and you know, everybody's had those thoughts of like, man, dogs really have the life. All they eat, sleep, and they can play and just have a good time. And, you know, they don't have to pay bills. At least my dog isn't paying any bills right now. She's not contributing. Even though I have seen a place out here where a dog has a job at a distillery. I've seen this dog up on its hind legs helping roll the barrels across the room. So I told my dog about it, and all she did was start scratching her ear, and then she burped and laid down. So, like, I don't think she's going to help. Anyway, I tried.
Yeah, you tried. What can you do? But, yeah, so he wants to turn into a dog, and something just that we should lay out for people who don't know. I'm sure everyone knows, but at first we just hear Tommy making baby noises as the adults are around or whatever, and, like, just the cooing and the whatever. And then when the other kids come in, because it's his birthday, the other kids come over. I think it's Phil, Lil, and then Chucky first, because they're all with the DeVilles at this time.
Yep.
They enter, and then Tommy starts talking to them like in a regular voice. But it's not that it's not like Toy Story where he only talks to other babies when the adults aren't around. It's just that this is that like baby jarbled cooing and awing or whatever. That's what it translates to, right, to baby speak, but the adults still don't understand it. It's just mumbling to them. The only exception is Angelica, who is like 1 year older than Chucky. I think Angelica's 3 or maybe 4.
Yeah, she's a toddler.
Right. She's still on the cusp of just coming out of that language and learning adult language, so she can still understand them.
And so for those of you that aren't as familiar with this show, like if you are a little bit younger and you aren't old people like me and Joseph, because I feel old right now, because I just shoveled a bunch of snow and my back is broken pretty much.
I went golfing yesterday, or I went to a driving range yesterday, and my hand's really sore today.
Dude, the last time I did that, I tore a ligament in my hand. So that's how old I am. You're a month older than me, but once that happened to me, I leapt years ahead of you in age. God. I'm just falling apart. I'm just dying, basically. I have leprosy or something. I'm just falling apart. Anyway, so for those of you that are younger and not familiar with it, it's basically kind of like how Stewie operates in Family Guy. If you are more familiar with that, and that he can say full sentences and talk and everything like that, but the parents don't hear that; they just hear baby noises. So it's the same kind of deal here, and I'm sure that Family Guy probably borrowed that from this show, because a lot of the jokes they do with Stewie are very reminiscent of situations that you would see in this. So one thing that was weird to me that I didn't think about it till now is that like Tommy's parents look like they're in their late 40s. Like they look like there's no way they just spit this kid out like any time recently.
But officially, at least Stu, Tommy's dad, is supposed to be 35. So he's almost our age.
So, oh God. So he's only like a year younger or a year older than we are right now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So he is a little bit of an older dad. I wonder about the mom then, but I don't know, that it's just, that really stood out to me. It was really weird, but I mean, there are older parents. I mean, my parents were a little older when I was born, and obviously if I have kids, I'm definitely going to be an old dad. So yeah, that's happening. Oh, one thing I noticed that I really liked about this is that, and this is more on the animation side of things. So like I'm getting the really boring stuff out of the way right now, so we can have some fun. But they do a lot of the edits, at least in this first pilot, are done using extreme close-ups, which I think is really smart. So like somebody picks Tommy up and it zooms in like really close on this person's face. And then like as it zooms out, you're like in the next scene, like that person has carried Tommy into another room and now something else is going on. And I thought that was a really cool way to do it. And I never really thought of that until, watching it this last time.
Yeah, and a lot of it, I mean, the show in general is basically from a baby's perspective, a day in the life of a baby.
Right.
And so a lot of those are like kind of fisheye lens, like those wide angled shots where it just everything looks a little bit more inflated and larger because it's from a baby's point of view. So I really liked how they did that and played with it to where even basic situations, we're getting it from the perspective of a baby where it's like, I don't know what's going on, but here's my take on it. And here's the adventure that we're going to go through. I mean, this is like every episode of the show, so I'm just saying it as like a general thing. It's their misunderstandings of common occurrences that make this show, which is a really interesting take.
Yeah, like as an example of that, so like the whole dog food thing, they are hellbent then on they have to eat some dog food because Tommy thinks it'll turn them into dogs. And so the others are kind of following suit. Even Angelica, who is usually if there is an antagonist of the show, it's Angelica. She is Tommy's older cousin. She's kind of a bully, but usually not like if you think of a traditional bully, like, in school or something like that, that's like very physically abusive and really mean and stuff. Not like that. She's more manipulating and conniving, and
she's very
rude.
Selfish and greedy. Yeah.
Yes. So that's what it is. But even she agrees with this. But I like her thing because Angelica is a nightmare of a child, to be honest. Like, she's the kid you don't want to have. Everyone's like, oh, I could roll in the grass. I could poop on the lawn, like doing, goofy kind of things. And Angelica's like, you mean I could bite the mailman? And I was like, jeez. All right, then. So that's where she went. And she brings that up so many times in this episode about how bad she wants to bite the mailman. It's like, yikes, dude.
She is a nightmare kid. But it's one of those things where her parents don't really see it. And a lot of this is like the parents being not incompetent, but just like not fully paying attention at all times to the children, which of course they can't do. That's where all these adventures really happen. So in this one, when they're trying to get the dog food, so they try to go about it in many ways. Tommy gets so close many times and is always kind of pulled away for one reason or another. Since it's his birthday, he's still going through all that. But then the adults get together and they start to argue over certain things because there was this puppet show that was supposed to come, but instead they just sent the little stage and the puppets and no puppeteers. So Stu and his brother Drew have to take over, and then they get into a little argument of their own that ends up being like a kind of an emotional outburst of just what is it, repented feelings? Or
yeah, I loved that. Yeah. And I like too that before they did it, like, so Drew didn't want to because he's like, do you remember what happened the last time we did a puppet show? And Stu's like, no, my arm healed and you can see almost perfectly out of that eye. So I was like, oh my God, what did they do to each other?
What happened? Yeah.
And that was when they were supposed to be kids. So yeah, as an adult, it does not take them long at all to like start getting mad at each other. And that turns into this, like, it becomes background noise as the babies are doing their thing, but like it gets revisited once in a while, and like they're still just yelling at each other and like getting all like that time upset and screaming.
That time you bit my handlebars. It's like, yeah, but you broke my skateboard. And then Dee Dee's trying to like,
she's just trying to mediate
and like help them to where they're like,
yeah,
okay, like apologize, like Stu, that was terrible thing to do. You shouldn't have broken Drew's skateboard, but Drew, you shouldn't have bent his handlebars. And it's like, well, he started it. And it's just like a little kids fighting basically. Right. But all of this noise, like you were saying, is sort of a distraction while the kids are off on their little adventure doing their own thing, utilizing Stu's invention. So Stu is a toy maker. Tommy's dad, Stu, is like a toy maker, but a failed toy maker, almost like the dad from Gremlins,
yes,
where he's making all these things and they never quite work as expected. This one kind of does, but he didn't have batteries in it at first, so it doesn't. That's what kind of started the argument in the first place. Or Chucky put some batteries in it and starts to help Tommy because the last thing of dog food is up on a shelf that they can't reach. So he's literally flying Tommy up there with this little flying machine that Stu made as a toy for Tommy. And that's where all of this starts to go crazy. Like Angelica gets dumped in some flour, and eventually this little flying machine gets thrown into the cake. And Dee Dee basically starts to cry because she's like, oh, the birthday's ruined. Like, it's not perfect like I wanted it to be. Like, it's terrible. It's a failure.
During all of that going on, so one of the cans of dog food that they had actually knocked off not accidentally, they were trying to get it off the shelf with that machine and they got it, but it had rolled out into the living room. And Stu and Drew's dad, so Tommy's grandpa, saw it, thought it was for Spike, opened it up, put it in the bowl. Spike looked at it, sniffed it, and was like, nope. He literally holds his head up and walks away, and the babies get to eat the dog food. But then, like, they obviously don't turn into dogs, but then it's, I think, mind over matter kind of thing where Tommy's like, oh, I feel something happening, and then they just kind of pretend to be dogs, and they bark and crawl around and stuff. And all the adults kind of stop. They're bickering and they're being upset over the quote-unquote ruined birthday, and they just think it's really cute, and they take a photo and stuff like that. And it was just a cute little moment.
In like a photo album. Yeah, it's like a nice little reminder that it's like this little birthday, it wasn't ever about you, the adult. It was about the kids, and seeing them all playing together and having fun, even though you missed out on the whole adventure. Seeing the end of it here helped to really make what seemed like a failed birthday into a special moment.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's a lot of what this show does, is it really mixes comedy and adventure with a lot of heart. And I say that about a lot of cartoons, but it's true because they sneak it in there where it'll just like jab you with it at the last minute. You're like, oh.
They're good at sneaking.
The second episode we watched today's show was Reptar on Ice, season 2, episode 10A. And that was my pick because, like I was mentioning earlier, Reptar. It starts with Angelica eating a bowl of Reptar cereal, again, which I have had. And it's Stu's reading the ingredients, and he's like, it's like sugar, cardboard bits, and like some kind of sorbate or something. He's like, Dee Dee, there's not even food in here. She's like, I know, but that's all she'll eat. And so it starts out with that, and then then Angelica starts explaining like who Reptar is or what Reptar is. So this might have been, I don't know if it was the first time we ever see Reptar, but it was kind of a intro to him as far as like what he's supposed to be. So he's a dinosaur. Obviously, he's a T-Rex or T-Rex-esque. And she starts saying like he used to eat cats and dogs and even babies. And she's looking at Tommy. So yeah, she is that antagonist, that bully.
Where you want to be like, shut up. Shut up, Angelica.
I mean, it's funny because Arlene Klasky, one of the creators, she like stated for the longest time that she hated Angelica. Like she did not like that character.
Funny.
And the voice actress for Angelica had trouble reading those lines sometimes because she felt like so bad about it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that was a character that I think it was the idea of Paul Germain, and it was something that was kind of contested at first for a while, but they finally came around. And, you know, she does add to the show, but I could see why there's so much. I could see why they were kind of against it. But in this episode, all the kids, they're talking about Reptar, and then they see on TV that there's going to be, or no, okay, so first they talk about, or Angelica talks about how the comet came down and killed all the dinosaurs, so Reptar's dead or whatever, and or how Reptar turns into a tonsil.
Yeah, I love the line that Tommy says whenever he relays that information to everyone else. He's like all sad, and the other kids are like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "Reptar got hit on the head by a comet and turned into a tonsil."
Yeah,
I loved it.
And then she's like, well, or they were like, well, maybe he can come back. Maybe he's just hiding.
No, he's
and
not.
Tommy's like, no, like, that's it. Once you turn into a tonsil, it's over. He was so serious about it. That's what made it so great.
Yeah, I thought that was super funny.
They see on TV that there's a Reptar on ice, like Reptar's ice skating thing coming to town, and Stu gets the idea. He's like, let's just do it. Let's do it for the kids. It'll be fun. And the dad Lou is against it completely. the kids are super excited about it because they're like, oh, like we can finally see Reptar. And then
they're outside. They go outside to play because the parents are irresponsible and left the doors open.
Yeah.
And so the babies walk out side by themselves, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta look for Reptar. Maybe he is hiding." And they find this little lizard, and they think it's Reptar. Then when they decide he's too small, they're like, "Oh, it must be Reptar's baby. We have to, reunite them." I think that's when the commercial comes up. I think it comes up.
I think you're right. I think they're looking for Reptar first outside, and then they find the lizard. They're like, "Well, if this isn't Reptar, but maybe it's his baby." Then they see the commercial, and they're like, "Oh, now we can bring the baby to Reptar." And it's funny because they keep hiding that lizard in their diapers and like squirming around.
Their faces, oh my gosh. Like the faces of them when the lizard's in their diapers is really funny. Like they're just like, like I don't know how to feel about this.
This is only a 10-minute episode, but or 10 to 12 minutes, something like that. But Reptar on Ice is hilarious. It's got some great music to it. I'm gonna put some of those. Like,
you say great, but I'm like, God, this is so bad. But I mean, it's like purposefully bad. Okay. I'm going off on a tangent here. I'm sorry. But what it reminded me of, and I forgot this existed until watching this episode, and I was just thinking about the ridiculousness of taking basically like a Godzilla kind of figure and putting him on ice skates and making it a musical. And so I was just kind of going along those lines of taking something and making it an ice like skating thing for kids. And that reminded me of that Ninja Turtles rock band kind of thing back in the day. You remember that?
Yeah, coming out of their shell.
Oh my God. It's so bad.
Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah, it's awful. Please, you'll thank us. Maybe after this episode's over, go to YouTube.
If you don't do anything else, listen to Splinter's song.
Oh,
because
gosh.
It's so terrible.
Yeah. YouTube, Ninja Turtles coming out of their shells. Is that what it is?
I think so. I think that's what the name of it is.
Oh my gosh. It's fantastic is what it is so I don't get sued.
It also kind of reminds me from childhood of that we went to Six Flags a lot, and there was this thing called when Batman the movies had just come out, so it was super popular. There was a Batman stunt show.
I remember that.
There was like not the actual Batmobile, but there was a Batmobile and stuff, and there was tons of explosions. I still remember the way that show felt because it was so hot. When things would explode, because literal flames would lift up and you could feel them from the stands. And so like that show, I associate that show with like a feeling of fire near me because of how much I remember that. And so it's like all those old shows that they had, or all those old like performances that they had of popular shows at the time or whatever.
Oh man, it's so weird that you brought that up because I can smell it now. Like I can smell.
Yeah. Because I
used to go to Six Flags a lot too as a kid, and they would do. I'm sure they ran a lot of the same shows at the different locations because I was in the one in St. Louis, and I remember that, and I can smell the pyrotechnics from that right now just thinking about it. Man, that was fun.
It's like one giant firework. Imagine how that smells.
Yes. Gosh, that was great. But on this though, like for one, I love there's a scene of the guy that plays Reptar, and he's in the kind of the green room talking to the producer before the show. He's talking about how much the show is stupid, how it's not good for kids, how he hates lizards, and he is dressed up as a giant lizard. He's talking about how ridiculous it is because the main story is about and think about it in the perspective of like Godzilla rather than Reptar, because that's who this is emulating.
Almost think about it more as King Kong even because of the woman thing.
Well, yeah, and it's basically the idea that this woman and Reptar fall in love, even though he's a rampaging monster destroying cities, and they get married and stuff. All the government's trying to take him down. It's so dumb.
Reptar, where is Reptar?
Oh yeah,
there's so many like musical cues to it, and like he's a dinosaur, but I love him. And it's just a ton of that. It's so bad it's good.
But I just let that that scene where he's having that conversation, he's putting the suit on, and it's just the regular guy body with the Reptar head moving with the audio, and he's just complaining about how like stupid this idea was like, I was cracking up so hard watching this.
It was great. And yeah, the foreshadow of him fearing lizards, and you're like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Because what happens is, of course, again, the parents aren't really paying attention to the babies. Stu, who was really excited to come there, he and Dee Dee are both falling asleep, like they're so bored. And the grandpa, who didn't want to come and wanted to see a hockey show instead, like he starts getting super into it.
Yeah.
and so no one's paying attention to the babies. They wander off onto the ice to try to reintroduce Reptar to his baby. And like, it's surprising that they got as far as they did. Like Tommy, they all go out there and they get up on the back of this like tank, which I thought was funny because the tank had little skating feet too.
Yeah.
And so they crawl up on that. And then I think it's Chucky gets kind of flung off to the side and accidentally thrown into Reptar. And then like, oh, just like, we got to figure out like what to do with these babies. Just wing it or something. He's like, there's a baby on the ice or something. He's trying to like make up a song on the spot.
Yeah. He goes, hey, look, there's some kids on the ice.
Yeah. And so even in this, we've talked about this episode more than the length of it, but it was that funny to me. Like I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this was great.
And so eventually Stu gets out there and tries to get him, and actually it kind of makes a show. Like people are applauding once Stu gets out there and like picks up Tommy, and then the lizard gets in his pants and he falls over. And like Tommy gets thrown up in the air and then kind of lands gracefully back in his arms and is just laughing and loving it. And everybody's applauding him. And that's where the episode closes out.
Yeah.
We do get to see Reptar like get scared off by that lizard. Like he skates away real fast.
He skates away and like runs into everybody else like in the show, and they all like fall over and stuff. It was great.
I really enjoyed that episode.
That was a great pick. And it was one that I remembered pretty fondly too, so I'm glad you picked that. Like I knew you'd pick something with Reptar, and I'm glad you did.
Yeah, you know me.
I know.
The last episode we watched, I gave you a choice because there were a couple of high-rated ones, and like different lists have different episodes at the top of them. But this one is one that had a lot of resonance to it because of the subject matter, and I was curious about it too. It was Mother's Day, season 4, episode 2, and this was where the Rugrats celebrate Mother's Day and Chucky wonders about his late mother. It gets pretty emotional at different times. There's some funny parts to it, but overall, it's a pretty heavy episode.
Yeah, and I guess the reputation precedes it because, so I mean, like, you and I were kids when this was around. We'd seen it. I didn't remember this one by name or anything, but in talking with Rochelle about which episodes that we were going to do for this, and I said Mother's Day, and she was just like, oh no. She's like, that's so depressing. And I'm like, wait. What? Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it is and it isn't, because it does like round out to a happy-ish ending.
Yeah.
Considering. But so we find out, well, it is Mother's Day, and we've got Angelica who's trying to make like a replica of her head out of macaroni for her mom. And the other babies are trying to look for gifts for their mothers, like looking for just really anything they could find. They're like, where do we find each other's gifts? Like, okay, let's look in the couch. So they're like digging under the couch and stuff just for weird stuff. Lil and Phil have gotten earthworms for their mom and stuff. And
which apparently they got her last year too.
Yeah. And I loved some of those tender moments it had where it's like, she said the best gift we ever got her was when we were feeding. And it was interesting that it actually showed like kind of a breastfeeding scene. You didn't see anything, obviously, but the implication was there.
Yeah.
And then I thought that was really progressive, especially for a kid's cartoon. And it's like the best gift that we ever got her, she says, was when we first started laughing, and they're just kicking at each other and cracking up. And so that was just kind of a cute thing.
Yeah, that was.
And then Tommy's talking about how the best gift that he got from his mom, or he ever got his mom, was when he was kind of in the, I don't know what those are called, but they're not incubators, but little beds for newborn babies.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, little fish tanks for, I mean, that's what he called it. So we'll call it that.
I was in one of those babies. As a kid. I had I was jaundiced when I was born. So they put me in.
Oh, wow.
My parents called it the tanning bed. Is what I got placed in.
Yeah.
Because they had to put me under those certain lights. So I had little goggles on and I was getting tanned, man.
Jaundice. That's crazy. I never knew that.
Yep.
So Tommy is in there because he was a premature baby as well. And that's where we get kind of that hint at that. And he said the best gift that he ever got for her was when he grabbed her finger when she put it in there, because he said he was scared. He was in a fish tank or something. And then right when she put her hand in there and he held onto her finger, like he wasn't scared anymore, and he knew she would always be there. Yeah. I thought that was really sweet.
That really was. That was super cute.
They lay it on thick this episode.
Yeah, they did. Ugh. One thing that, like, already I was just like, oh man, because I'm like, I don't want to be emotional today. I'm tired. I don't want it. But when Chucky's dad drops him off, he has this box of stuff that he gives to Dee Dee, and he says it belonged to Chucky's mom, or there's pictures of her and stuff in there. He doesn't want Chucky to find it because he thinks Chucky will be sad or whatever, and asks Dee Dee to keep it for safekeeping.
That's what he's projecting anyway.
But
there's more to it. We
can tell. I mean, from the way he's saying it and the way they animated it, which they did a great job. It's he's hiding it away for him, not for Chucky. It's like he doesn't want to see it because I think the pain is still pretty hard for him.
Because he was even saying, like, I'm just bringing it back because I was looking through it. Well, not looking through it. I was looking at the box. Well, not even looking at the box. I was just thinking about it from the other room because it's Mother's Day. So, yeah, he's still got a problem with it. And I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the episode, because there's a part where it was like really, like, that brought me to tears hearing him describe it, because I'm like, or hearing how they are talking about it, because I thought that was just a really sweet moment.
I agree. So Chucky doesn't understand, and he says, well, I don't have a mom, and so Mother's Day is for, I guess, Mother's Day isn't for him because he doesn't have one. So the others are just like, we need to get Chucky a mom. So, but, they don't understand the concept really. So first they try like a mannequin, not like a mannequin, but like one of those wire racks in the shape of like a woman's torso for dresses and stuff. That didn't work out. Then they try Spike, Tommy's dog, who licks all over his face and stuff like that. That didn't work out. And then they try Lil, and Lil is just like driving Chucky nuts and stuff. And I like that he is just like, he's like, Spike did a better job of being a mom than you. And what's funny is they keep referencing back to that, because the next pick is Angelica, who volunteers to be a mom because she's trying to make this gift happen, but she's Angelica and she doesn't actually want to work on it. She just wants it done. And she's like, if only I was a mom, so then people would just do stuff for me on Mother's Day. And that's where, she finds out that they're trying to find a mom for Chucky. So she volunteers, and she's horrible. She changes his name to Blaine, which is cracking me up.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's
She's
great.
like, Chucky's a stupid name. Blaine's a TV name, a TV star name or something.
Yeah, Blaine's a TV name, and TV names are better.
Yeah.
He keeps calling her Angelica Mom, which is funny.
Chucky doesn't really have an idea of what a mom is necessarily, because he doesn't remember his mom per se, but he says he has a dream about a nice lady and playing in a field and stuff, or playing in a field of flowers or whatever. And so he's remembering his mom, but he's just not really conscious about it so much. So it's not that it's bothering him necessarily that his mom is gone. He just doesn't have a really strong memory of her. So he's trying to take whoever will like adopt him, quote unquote, as a kid. And Lil's was funny because like she at one point spit on his face or spit on his glasses. Yes. Because like she was supposed to like spit on the paper towel or whatever and wipe off his glasses, but instead she just spits on his face. And then she gets him a bottle from under the fridge, and she said there were ants on it, but she licked them off before she gave it to him. And
so
he's like,
gross.
Lil, you were a terrible mom. You spit on my face and you gave me ant milk.
Yeah. So there's the thing, like, we probably didn't do well for those that aren't as familiar with the show, is like the archetypes of these characters, where Tommy's the every baby and like, the focal point main character. He's kind of the leader. He's more adventurous than the others and more optimistic than the others. Phil and Lil are the twins, and they are very, I don't want to say they're the troublemakers, but they're kind of the troublemakers. Like, they're the ones that do the gross stuff. They're kind of weird.
Yeah, those are the kids that would pick their nose and eat their own boogers.
Yeah, or eat each other's boogers. And Chucky's the nice scaredy cat, kind of mama's boy in a way, but doesn't have a mom. You know, afraid of everything, very timid, easily a pushover, kind of a dork because he's got his long shaggy red hair and he's got his big glasses and things like that. And then we talked about Angelica, though. Angelica being like the older toddler, kind of a bully sort of thing. Just really, really bossy. I think bossy is probably the best way to describe her.
We keep going with the whole like Angelica mom thing for a while. And then like, you know, it's causing a lot of distress in Chucky because like she has him get her a flower that has a bumblebee on it. And so he's running around and tries to get the flower for her because it's the only mom he has or whatever. And so it's like the bumblebee's chasing him around. He messes up the flower accidentally. And then I think like accidentally knocks over the head that he was working on at some point. And so she gets so mad that she locks all the babies like in the coat closet for forever, like for the rest of their lives, she says. This also happens to be the spot where Dee Dee put the box that Chaz, Chucky's dad, gave her that had all his mom's memorabilia in it.
Yep. So he sees, he opens it and he's surprised because he's like, this is the woman in my dreams. And it just makes him feel really good. And so he really likes the photo. He doesn't understand who it is. He just likes it because it makes him feel good. It makes him feel happy and safe. So when Chaz comes back, kind of, I guess, at the end of the day to pick Chucky up, he hands Chaz can I just say, though, Chaz is the worst name ever. Never name someone Chaz. I hate it so much. I don't know what's worse, Chaz or Chad. Like, they're both equally terrible. But when he comes back over and they get the babies out of the closet, he hands Chaz the photo and very obviously taken aback by it. Like, he's just like not sure what to say about it. And he's really trying to hide it from him. And Chucky doesn't understand because he thought it would make his dad feel good because it makes him feel good. And I think this is kind of what you're getting at. And this is why I really liked this line from like Dee Dee when Chaz is like kind of talking to her, like, you know, well, I don't want him to see this stuff because I'm afraid that he's going to miss her. And then she says, well, then you can miss her together. And that was like her definitely acknowledging that this is more about you than Chucky. And this is important for him to know who his mom was. So like, you need to do this. You need to address this.
Stop shying away from it, not only for you, but for Chucky as well.
Yeah.
And basically stop carrying that weight by yourself.
Exactly. And, you know, and yeah, it's like, you know, share it with your son. Like, this is a thing that only the two of you will ever understand. You know, it's that type of loss that those are the two that are really going to feel it and really going to be the ones that can connect with those feelings over the years more than anyone else is going to. So it's like, you need to do this. Like, you need to get, you know, whatever feelings out there and deal with it. So it was really good. I liked that a lot. And that got me a little bit. And I was like, stop. I don't want to do this right now.
That's where that started. And then it got even more emotional with the whole, like, the cut of her, or the cut of Chucky and Chaz in the yard, like talking in the I guess their yard, talking about like his mom and how she planted all these flowers, and that was something she really loved doing. She loved carrying him around. And then it kind of is replaying the scene from Chucky's dreams. So it's teaching him that they weren't just dreams, that this was actually happening. Yeah. And she was trying to, you know, tell him not to be scared of the butterfly and whatever.
And that poem, she wrote from her hospital bed. So that's how we know, like, because at first it's kind of like, oh, well, did she leave? What happened? To me, like, if she wrote a poem from a hospital bed, then my thoughts is she probably died of an illness.
Yeah, like it was a terminal illness of some sort.
Yeah, so it's just like, oh, that hurts a little bit.
And so the poem even starts by saying something like, even though I won't be around, I'll still always be with you, and here's why. And then she's like describing all these different ways of how, you know, whenever you feel the grass embracing you, like, I'm there. Whenever you feel like the rain on your hair, like, that's me, that's tears of joy for me. And it's just a lot of like really sweet things like that, basically saying that she'll always be there for him, even though she's not there physically. And Chucky gets a lot of joy out of that. And he's like, you know, it's not, first of all, like my dad can also be my mom. Like, he does everything a good mom does too. But then also, like, I do have a mom because she's all around me. Like, she's in the flowers, she's in the clouds, she's in the sun. And the other babies are just amused by that. They're just like, oh, that's cool. That's really neat.
Yeah.
And so it's a lack of understanding because they don't know a whole lot, but it's enough to where it brings joy to Chucky. And it was a good thing that his dad finally introduced him to the idea of his mom.
And I like, too, that he did say, like, at one point before he found out that was his mom, like, when the others were describing things that a good mom does, you know, because they're just like, you do need some kind of mom. This is what this is. And he's like, but that's my dad. Like, he does these things. So I love the idea that they're, you know, this was over my head as a kid, but the idea that they're teaching kids these things like, you know, like it's okay to have one parent, you know, and yeah, the dad can fulfill that role. And, you know, sometimes a parent has to be both parents. And I like how they did that. That was cool.
Yeah, overall, really good episode. And I'm glad that you chose this one. Well, Chris, it looks like it's about time we send our inner babies to hang out with Tommy and the gang. And if they're lucky, get to taste some of that choice dog food. Then see what they thought of the show, Rugrats.
This cartoon was fun because it reminds me of when I was a kid, you know, like yesterday. The babies are all really fun, and Angelica always has really good ideas, like turning into a dog so you can bite the mailman. So I gave this cartoon 5 bowls of dog food cereal with ant milk out of 5.
This cartoon managed to appeal to both kids and adults with its unique animation, great jokes, and intelligent writing. I think that's a pretty impressive feat considering this is a show about what the world is like from a baby's perspective, which is chock full of babies. While personally, I don't find my baby brother anywhere near as entertaining. But overall, I'd give Rugrats 5 big bowls of Reptar cereal out of 5, and I highly recommend it to everyone both equal to and greater than actual babies.
That's true. Like, you know, babies aren't always all they're made out to be. They're always crying and pooping on stuff. Like, my God.
Did you ever have any siblings, like younger siblings?
Nope.
So you never had to deal with it. I have 3.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
I've had to deal with a lot of babies.
So that was fantastic, right? Like, that was great.
Yeah. As the oldest kid, the spotlight gets taken away from you, first of all. So it's like you're resentful for that. And then they start to do things like mess with your toys or mess with just all your stuff. And then you get in little fights over nothing. And then they remember those little cars that you pull back and like their wheels rev up and you let it go?
Oh, yeah.
And it'll just start driving. My brother did that once because he was really mad at me. And then after it revved up, he snuck up behind me and put it in my hair. And so my hair got all wound up in those wheels. And you can imagine how easy that was to get out.
Oh, gosh, that's awful.
So,
yikes.
Fast forward, though, a few years, my brother and I are really good friends now and love each other very much. But when you're kids, man, it's no holds barred. It's just a battleground.
I can imagine because all of my friends had, almost all my friends were all the youngest siblings. So I got to see their perspectives and I got to see the older siblings picking on them and stuff. Like I got to see each of their Angelicas.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's fun.
I'm not completely innocent of picking on him either. Like I did some terrible things. I won't lie. But, you know, I don't think I deserved a car to the hair.
Did you ever eat dog food as a kid?
Oh, yeah. There was one time I have a memory of like crawling to the dog's bowl and then like he was drinking his water bowl and I'm just eating out of his food bowl while he's over there because I'm just doing what he's doing. So this is actually something I have a lot of familiarity with.
You didn't turn into a dog though, right?
Nope. This was yesterday.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. This
nice.
was no. As a baby, I am told that did happen a few times, but I do remember it specifically. So
that's
yeah.
Awesome. Well, like, yeah, I'm glad that we did get to watch this, and you know, it's not a show I see myself going back and watching more of. I mean, I liked it, but I'm not really interested in watching it now. But I do remember now why I loved it so much back then, and as an adult, I can see the really deeper meanings to some of the stuff. And I know Mother's Day can't be the only episode that did it. I specifically remember one on Passover that I really liked a lot as a kid.
Yeah, then there's some Hanukkah specific ones too.
Yeah, and I love that because Tommy's family is Jewish. So that's really cool, and I liked that a lot, and I learned a lot about that part of culture from, that show back when I was a kid. And I'm just kind of fascinated with that kind of stuff. So I like how they can take this show that's mostly just for goofs and fun for kids, but convey some like important and sometimes serious topics almost in like a conversation that a kid would understand without understanding how deep the purpose is,
Mm-hmm.
It's like in this last one, like basically it's just that, it's okay if one of your parents is gone. You've got this other parent and this parent's going to be both roles. Or, your mom's gone, but she's everywhere around you and she still loves you. And I think that stuff is just really awesome. And it's like, I don't know, it's a cartoon that I'll want any of my future beasts to watch once they can understand at least like the basics of it.
Yeah, and it's something that even as adults we can go to with a different perspective, obviously, than when we were watching it as kids. But we can go to it and be like, yeah, that's a really cool perspective that they have on that very relatable topic. And that is not just with the Mother's Day episode. That's just in general. This show did a great job of encapsulating growing up or just life in general.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Brian Blake, for suggesting this to us. It was awesome stepping back into it. And since I thought we already had, I'm glad we got to do it for real this time.
Yeah, thanks, Brian, for reminding Joseph that we still needed to do it.
Also, I do want to thank CF Webster 76 for reaching out to us on Twitter because she and her family, her girls, so Christina, Anna, and Im, all the Websters, like, thank you for listening to us. That was such a sweet message. I'm so glad you reached out to us. And hopefully you'll hear this episode one day. I don't know if you're caught up yet, but one day you'll hear it.
Yeah.
And you'll know that we appreciate you and love you.
We were all like me, Joseph, and one of our other Nerd Sloth worker bees were all like talking about the message we got and how much we loved it. It was very kind and we really appreciated it. It made us very happy.
It did. And we're going to be taking a small break. Instead of in 2 weeks, it'll be like in 3 weeks. So the next episode that'll come out will be on Saturday, the 28th of December. So it'll be the last episode we do for the year.
Yeah.
But for that episode, we'll be watching
Klaus, suggested via Joseph, who's you're listening to him right now.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, why are you suggesting this?
I'm suggesting it because it was so good, and I really think it's going to be a staple for animated holiday movies moving forward. I really felt that strongly about it.
Okay, cool. I'm really excited for that, especially to get like a brand new Christmas animation. So that's going to be a lot of fun because we haven't had a real good classic one, I feel like, since some of the old ones from like before you and I were even born. It'll be nice to have a nice modern one.
Because when I think of Christmas, I think of like Year Without a Santa Claus, Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
Those, the claymation ones. But this one really like affected me in a way where I'm like, yeah, this needs to be seen.
Okay, cool.
And this is the one that's on Netflix. If you didn't know about it, or if you do and want to watch it beforehand, that'll be cool too. I really recommend it. And I know this is getting a little bit ahead of the actual episode we're going to do on it, but go out and watch it. It's totally worth it.
Go watch it before we cover it. Watch it with your family, your significant others, your cats, your dog. That's way better than multiple cats. And then you can...
One dog is worth at least 7 cats.
Yeah, I almost said the same number. Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Holy crap.
So it's got to be true.
It is true. We can say that that's canon now. It's official. One dog worth 7 cats. So yeah, watch it and then tune into us on the 28th on Saturday.
And until next time, we hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever you want to celebrate this month.
Happy Candle Nights for those of you that know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Happy Candle Nights. And most of all, just happy spending time with your family. Don't stress out about the gifts. Just enjoy the time that you get to spend with the ones you love.
Yeah. Oh, well said.
And once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you after Christmas.
Presented by Nerd Sloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.